Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Enhancing the Human Experience. I'm your host, Mark Phillips, and I want to thank you for tuning in today. So, I don't know where you're tuning in from, whether in the States or where you're at in the world, but we have been having some amazing weather here in Boise, and well-deserved, I might add. We had a crazy cold winter. I think most of the nation did have a crazy winter. Lots of snow, lots of freezing and ice. And to see this sunny weather out there is so awesome. And we're loving it. Everyone's loving it in this neck of the woods. In fact, I've got my cruiser parked right outside. And as soon as I record this podcast, I'm going to get on that thing and ride and never come back. Just kidding. I'm going to come back. I'm always going to come back to do this show. But it's super nice outside and I can't wait to get out there. But before we do that, we got to record the podcast, right? We got to get to the 5 reasons why now is the best time to do it. I'm excited about this podcast because who among us doesn't have trepidation and anxiety about doing that thing that you want to do, right? And it is your dream. It's what your intuition is telling you to do. It's that hunch. It's that thing that keeps nagging you and says, hey, do it. Please do it, right? That little voice inside of us that we squash down so many times, but we've got to do it. It's why we're here. It's the essence of the human experience. And so in this podcast, I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why now is the best time to do it. And I think you're going to get some benefit out of this because I use these all the time. Like most of my stuff, these are little nuggets and ideas that I've picked up on my journey from a wide variety of places. And I keep them in my little tool bag or journal so that I can refer to them when times start to get the doubt starts to creep in, right? The mind starts to say, you know what is the bother? Why exert yourself? Why do it, right? Sit here, have a cup of lemonade in the shade. Don't worry about it, right? Just relax. And we got to tell our minds, hey, you know what? Shut up. I'm going to do this thing with or without your help because it's why we came here, right? So these 5, like I say, I keep these around me quite a bit. But the first reason why now is the great time to do it, is the best time to do it, is because mastery comes with practice. And the sooner you start doing it, whatever it is that you've been called to do, that your soul wants you to do, that your higher self is telling you to do, that hunch, like I said, the sooner you start, the more time you'll have to master that. Just because you have a natural affinity or natural gift in a certain area doesn't mean you're just going to walk onto the court, and I'm using the court metaphorically, the court of life, right? The field of life, and do it at a high level. Even people who have really awesome talent in a certain area need to practice, need to hone that talent, right? Talent never trumps practice. Practice always will trump talent. And so the sooner you start working on your hunch, whether it's a business idea, a health or fitness goal, a project you want to create, a piece of art, a piece of furniture, whatever it is, the sooner you start doing it, the more time you'll have to master it. Like I say, mastery comes with practice. So that is reason number 1 to start doing it, for why now is the best time to start doing it. Reason number 2 is life is really just one big experiment, isn't it? It's a constant process of trying and getting feedback, trial and feedback. And we hone our ability to take action in that way, right? But it's still an experiment because none of us really ever know. You may start doing it and you may hate it, right? Or you may love it. You don't know. That's the thing about life, is that we're always in this awakening state, right? Where we're trying new things, listening to the hunches and really trying to tune into what the hunch is really trying to say and what our soul knowledge and our higher self is really trying to tell us. But sometimes we get it wrong, right? Because there's so much distortion and noise in our consciousness and so many like feedback and so many messages being fed to us from outside us, from within us. It's hard to tune in and hear the little voice exactly right. And sometimes it's a process. All great people, all people who have succeeded, have failed so many times, but they don't think of it as failing, right? They think of it as moving closer toward the one thing that's going to make it, right? The one thing that's going to be in perfect and total alignment with who they are and their natural gifts to the world. So they never think of it as failing. So just think of life as one big experiment, and it's a constant process. So the sooner we get started doing a lot of stuff, the better off we'll be, right? So that's reason number 2. Reason number 3 is maybe my favorite reason, and I've talked about this before. It's this. It's not about what you're doing. It's what about your, excuse me, my favorite reason. I'm botching it. Come on here, Mark, get it together. Reason number 3, here we go again. It's not about what you're doing. It's about what you're becoming. This is my favorite personal development, like life idea here. We get so focused on what we're doing and the outcome we want to get, we forget about the true purpose, right? The true purpose is getting over ourselves, pushing through that fear, that doubt, that anxiety, becoming a better person. That's the only thing we can take with us. Whatever we do, whatever we create, whether it's a business, a piece of art, a piece of furniture, a musical piece, whatever it is, that's awesome, but that pales in comparison to the real nugget we get, and that is becoming a better version of ourselves. That's the only thing we can take with us. Polishing our soul, working through that fear and the doubt, and growing as a person, developing our being, right? That's the real gold right there. And it is my favorite of these 5 reasons. Number 4 is a really good one, and it is this. The longer you wait, the harder it gets to take that action, to do that thing. Scientists who study the brain say that those neural pathways that we develop from the time we're really young get more fixed and more deeply, I guess, routed in the brain and more like static as we grow older. Now, the same scientists also tell us that we can develop new neural pathways. Meditation is a great way to do this kind of a thing, and also doing something outside of your normal routine, or if you're right-handed, writing with your left hand or bouncing a ball with your left hand, doing something that will make your brain totally flip on its head and say, hey, this is a new thing. I've got to learn this new thing. And so it totally fritzes out the brain and says, hey, we got to do this. But if you wait long, those pathways get more deeply ingrained. And so the best way to be is to be in this state of flow, like we hear so much about, and to be really flexible and really like fluid in life, right? And not attaching to deep patterns of thinking and behavior, right? And to be more flexible in life, because it's only going to get harder as you get older. We see all the time people in their later years in life having very difficult time adjusting to new technology or how the world is. The world's always going to be in a change. And so the more we embrace the change and the more we dive into something that is very, very unfamiliar territory, the better off we'll be overall. And again, it's not because it's not just to do it, right? It's to keep that flexibility. It's to keep ourselves pliable and flexible and fluid in life, because we'll need it when we go to do some big venture, or when we need to have, when lots of things are on the line, right? The stakes are big. So it just keeps us in practice, embracing change and being very fluid with our lives. So that's number 4. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. Now, number 5 is the last thing is, because tomorrow you'll wish you'd started today. Right? I am going to throw regret at you. I'm going to make regret one of the 5, and it is the 5th one. Because if you wait, tomorrow you'll wish you started today. And then the next day you'll wish you'd started today. And on and on and on. And that's the trick, one of the tricks that the monkey mind likes to play with us, right? By saying, oh, just wait a little longer, whatever. If we start today, we're that much further. You'll have a whole day behind you, right? And there won't be that regret tomorrow. You'll already have started on the path. And this ties into number 3. In a very real sense, starting is finishing, in my opinion. Starting is the whole point. It's getting over that initial inertia and starting the process. And in my mind, that's actually where the real goods are. Who cares if you ever finish, right? It's starting and going through the process. It's the journey. The finishing is really just another time to start in a very real sense, right? So it's all about that start, pushing through the fear, doubt, and limitations that we have created in our own mind and going for it. So those are my 5 reasons why now is the best time to start. I hope that has been helpful and gives you some perspective about this precious moment of now. And for the quote of the week, here it is. It's a Chinese proverb, and it is this: the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. That's the quote of the week, and I think it sums up the message really nicely here. So I hope the weather is awesome where you're at, and I hope you can get out on your cruiser and cruise around. There is nothing better than riding on a cruiser on a sunny day and enjoying this beautiful weather. So until next time, I wish you all the best, health, wealth, and success. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.